the guy behind the counter kind of is looking at her funny, and she goes, I want to ship this here, and he looks at her and says, what's in the package? She goes, does it matter? He's like, yeah, because I know what's in that package. I'm not shipping it.
So at STEM Express, you could only procure from fetuses who had been alive right before the abortion.
Yes. With the shipping, we'd have our supplies in a certain part of the room. We'd have our STEM Express tape and our little boxes and our ice packs, and come to find out, you're not supposed to ship body parts.
Via FedEx, right?
Yeah,
you guys ship it via FedEx.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we would drive and we would drop them off at like a drop site. And I remember one time, this was towards the end of when I was working, I was at the Alameda with Jessica, and we agreed to go drop off some of the specimens. And the guy, for some reason, she was acting kind of weird because we both went in to go drop it off. And the guy behind the counter kind of is looking at her funny. And she goes, I want to ship this here. And he looks at her and says, what's in the package? She goes, does it matter? He's like, yeah, because I know what's in that package. I'm not shipping it. And it's like
Wow.
she probably told him or something. Like they had a past, or he'd found out somehow what was in the package, and he refused to ship it. So she got upset, and we went outside and said, why wouldn't he ship the package? She's like, oh, because he knows what's in here. You're technically not supposed to ship body parts.
Jessica said that.
Yeah, and she said, I got to go all the way across town to a different FedEx and drop this off. I'm like, I asked her, I wanted to go home at that time. I live in Sacramento. I was going to drive home from San Jose. I'm like, do I really need to go with you? She's like, no, I'm just going to take it over to, the hub or the drop-off site across town. You can just go home. And I thought, I'm like, I didn't know that you weren't allowed to ship things like that. I guess you can't. Some of the tissues we weren't able to procure because they were already dead tissues. So let's say a woman comes in for a medication abortion, and sometimes it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, the baby it's kind of hard to describe. It'll die, and at the reaspiration is when they go in and they have to suction the remains out. And NFT, no fetal heart tones, we can't use that. It's technically dead tissue.
Right.
So we also had to communicate that with the medical assistants. There were a couple times to where I'd have a specimen that I was waiting to come out, and I'd go and did the path lab, and the medical assistant would say, you can't use this one. This is a, NFT.
An NFT is no fetal heart tones. So at STEM Express, you could only procure from fetuses who had been alive right before the abortion.
Yes.